Woke Hasbro and Disney lead ESG charge to take over all of the world's entertainment. Hello, this is Robert Romano with Comicscape.org. Hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be talking about ESG funding. This is environmental, social, and governance investing that has kind of changed the face of the way Wall Street funds look at investing. And what is the goal? Is it to earn a profit, or is it to change the world? And with ESG funding, it's more leaning towards social justice and changing the world, and it is less about profit. They're a type of investment that is dedicated primarily nowadays to social justice, environmental sustainability, social issues, and governance issues. And what happened was in the 2010s, the Obama administration did a Labor Department regulation that allowed 401ks to invest in ESG funds. And this was a sea change. Suddenly, corporations were raising hundreds of billions of dollars to pursue social agendas. Companies like Hasbro, companies like Disney. And this is definitely, I think, changed everything. According to Bloomberg.com, ESG assets may hit $53 trillion by 2025, and that will be a third of all global assets under management. Global ESG funds are on track to exceed $53 trillion by 2025, representing more than a third of the projected 140.5 trillion total assets under management. Currently, there's about $95 trillion in global stock market value. So they're betting that there's going to be 140 trillion of assets under management by 2025, and a third of that, 33%, will be ESG funds. Now, specifically, what are ESG funds? This is from Investopedia. What are environmental, social, and governance criteria? ESG criteria are a set of standards for a company's operations that socially conscious investors use to screen potential investments. Environmental criteria consider how a company performs as a steward of nature. Social criteria examine how it manages relationships with employees, suppliers, customers, and the communities where it operates. Governance deals with the company's leadership, executive pay, audits, internal controls, and shareholder rights. So basically, this is left-wing investing, if you want to get really specific. I don't think this is a really politically conservative agenda. This sounds more like a leftist, radical agenda that has taken over the way investment happens right now. This has been going on for a long time. In 2015, the Department of Labor opened the door to ESG considerations. This kind of downplays what I think really happened here. When you look at the fact sheet that was put out by DOL, economically targeted investments and investment strategies that consider environmental, social, and governance factors, ESG factors. It says they've been asked periodically for the past 30 years, the department, to look at ERISA's financial fiduciary duties to pension plan investments selected because of collateral, economic, or social benefits that may further in addition to their investment returns. Various terms have been used to describe this and related investment behaviors, such as socially responsible investing, sustainable and responsible investing, environmental, social, and governance investing, impact investing, and economically targeted investing. And it believed that in 2008, under the Bush administration, the rule that was put forward was actually discouraging this type of investment. Quote, IB 2008-01 has unduly discouraged fiduciaries from considering ETIs and ESG factors. In particular, the department is concerned that the 2008 guidance may be dissuading fiduciaries from, one, pursuing investment strategies that consider environmental, social, and governance factors, even where they are used solely to evaluate the economic benefits of investments and identify economically superior investments, and two, invest in ETIs even where economically equivalent. So what they said here was, all right, you still have to make a profit for your clients in a pension plan, but you can also consider ESG factors where all other things are equal. So they're profitable companies, but you can give an additional weight to ESG factors if you so wish. And that is exactly what has happened. This opened the door for trillions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars, but really trillions of dollars of investment that has been flowing into ESG. And I think it's going to make everything kind of woke, for want of a better term. If you want to look at what's going on at Hasbro right now. Hasbro suspends critical race theory training whistleblower claims recently mischaracterizes our values, according to Hasbro. Following publicization of its critical race theory-based training program, Hasbro has suspended whistleblower David Johnson in order to investigate a potential violation of his contract's confidentiality clause, and responded to backlash sparked by the leak by asserting that the recently revealed information mischaracterizes Hasbro and our values. It was reported by Project Veritas, the investigative journalism outlet to whom the toy manufacturer's conscious kid-led training was leaked. Just one day after publishing their report on this information, Hasbro suspended Johnson's contract in order to sort out the confidentiality breach. And so this is indoctrination, according to the whistleblower, that's occurring inside of Hasbro, and they're forcing employees to take this, or maybe it's voluntary, according to Hasbro. That's a point of controversy here. According to Hasbro, our mission is to create the world's best play and entertainment experiences that connect children, fans, and families around the world. We occasionally invite third-party speakers for optional sessions to discuss diverse viewpoints. The reference session was not mandatory training. It was an optional webinar attended by a small group of employees. As always, the views expressed by the external speakers are their own and do not reflect the views of the company. Well, you know how we could look that up? Since these are publicly traded companies, we can just go to their annual reports and see what the corporate ethos of Hasbro is. So you go to the 2020 annual report, and you can you could do this with any company. Is this an ESG company? Is this a place where I want to park my money? Or is this a place where my CFO at the company, he's putting money into the mutual fund and then it's going to companies like this? You could look this stuff up. Hasbro 2020 annual report. Let's see here. Well, they have a corporate social responsibility and government affairs, a chief purpose officer, that was just appointment. In this role, she is leading the work, Catherine Bellevue, we are doing to advance Hasbro's positive impact around the world, including global government relations, global communications, corporate social responsibility, sustainability, ethical sourcing, and philanthropy and social impact. We also acted in response to the growing social justice movement. We believe we can play a role to help address these issues by being open-minded and listening to the opinions of many individuals who have been affected and involved, and then acting. As these tensions developed around us last year, we reached out to our employees to engage in conversations and listen to their concerns. This was so powerful to see and has re-energized our commitment to representing and including the range of people, voices, and perspectives around us. We announced formal goals for diversity and inclusion in our 2016 Corporate Social Responsibility Report, and we have been making progress on multiple dimensions, from revamping our approach to hiring and employee retention to broadening the composition of our leadership and workforce and evolving how we represent our products, packaging, marketing, and entertainment. But the issues we are seeing have reminded us, again, that we still have much work to do. So they have diversity and inclusion goals. For example, increase the percentage of women in director or above roles globally by 50% by 2025, expand ethically and racially diverse employee representation in the U.S. to 25% by 2025. These are quotas. Include a 50% diverse slate of candidates for all U.S. positions where there is underrepresentation. And this goes on. If you go to the corporate social responsibility section on page 22 of the report, at Hasbro, we understand that doing well includes doing good in the world and for all of our constituents. They're literally do-gooders. And so they have ESG strategies, very explicit in their program here, building our success and reaching new heights. We want to build and execute innovative, best-in-class CSR and ESG strategies and programs that resonate with our stakeholders and serve Hasbro's purpose to make the world a better place for all children, fans, and families. And so then they get into some environmental goals, some social goals, etc. that they have. They want to eliminate plastic packaging. 100% of suppliers piloted the Higg Index environmental asset tool. 100% of suppliers reviewed at least annually for human rights and ethical sourcing. What else do we have here? 2021, America's most just companies. This is what they want to be ranked at. They get a better rating. The best ESG companies, you can see right here, world's most ethical companies. These are ratings that you want to get so that you get more investment and you can get some of that sweet billions of dollars, trillions of dollars of ESG funds. And so these are socially conscious investors and they're taking over everything, including your favorite toy companies, apparently. And this just goes on and on. These are key areas of focus: environmental responsibility, human rights and ethical sourcing, human capital management, governance. This is the part I think that many of the people listening to the video will want to focus on. Our governance of human capital starts with our board of directors. Key areas of focus include diversity and inclusion. We believe that the more inclusive we are as a company, the more effective our employees will be, and the stronger our businesses will perform. Hasbro views diversity and inclusion as a strategic corporate social responsibility priority that is linked to the future success of our business and the growth of our brands. In 2018, Brian Goldner, chairman and CEO, along with 800 other CEOs, signed on to the CEO Action for Diversity and Inclusion Pledge, developed by the accounting firm PwC to publicly affirm Hasbro's commitment to diversity and inclusion as a fundamental value and corporate priority. So if you sign on to this D&I commitment from PwC, you get more money, you get more capital into the company, but you have to change things. You have to change the way the company looks, the way the company acts, the hiring practices, the types of products that go out. And Hasbro is no stranger in this area. If you look at Walt Disney Company, they're an ESG company as well, and you can see the changes that have happened just since 2015 when the Obama administration put forward this new bulletin. And I think it's a sea change. It's changing everything. It explains a lot about what's going on in comic books, in movies, in toys, in games, in RPGs, and so forth. Looking at Walt Disney Company, they too have a diversity and inclusion agenda on part 1, page 1 of their annual corporate report here. Diversity and inclusion, our D&I objectives are to build teams that reflect the life experiences of our audiences, establishing 6 pillars that serve as the foundation for D&I commitments: transparency, accountability, representation, content, community, and culture. Create a pipeline for next generation creative executives. They're going to have underrepresented people in more executive positions and so forth. I think that this has been going on for quite some time. And so maybe it's not the Walt Disney Company anymore. Maybe it's the woke Disney Company. And I don't think that's really exaggerating. But I do think that what you see going on here, companies like Hasbro, that, oh, this does not reflect the views of the company. I'm sorry. I think CRT, critical race theory, probably reflects the views of Hasbro. Especially when you consider their diversity and inclusion agenda. That's what critical race theory is all about. This would be a pamphlet for critical race theory. This is a part of it. This is a part of, I think, just kind of imposing a radical view on corporate governance and upon toys, upon things that are supposed to be fun, on movies and upon cartoons and upon comic books. Disney owns Marvel Comics. So I think that a lot of what we're seeing right now can really be explained. Comicsgate comments on this, the Fandom Menace comments on this stuff, really is explained by $53 trillion by 2025 of global capital that is flowing into these woke agendas, and it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. And I think we should know what we're up against. It's not just an angry mob on Twitter, although I think that's a part of it. It's like the tip of the spear, but it's not the spear itself. So if you look at, for example, search engine optimization, if you want to promote a website, you can get search engine optimization, and they'll hire teams of people to go around the internet and post links to your website and message forums on social media, etc. But big companies with hundreds of billions of dollars of capital, like Disney and Hasbro, etc., they can have people all over social media who are basically paid trolls, professional trolls, who have nothing else to do than to promote these agendas. And, you could be arguing with fake bots right now. It's pretty sick and twisted, but And I think that, there's certainly money to pay for something like that. And so you just kind of want to be watchful and see how big this really is. And the only way to avoid it, the only way to save yourself if you're a businessman, is you can't be publicly traded. This is a leviathan, $50 trillion. I mean, God, my goodness. And they're leveraging institutional control over almost all global capital. Privately held is the only way that we can protect our IPs or anything else. The moment somebody goes public, the SJWs will infiltrate and destroy your company. So watch out. That's the update. This is Robert Romano with comicsgate.org. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and have a good evening.